Hello, everyone. My name is Judy Holm. I'm the founder of the Global Fine Art Awards, and we are here today on October 15th, 2020, to introduce the 7th Annual GFAA Awards nominees. Before we get to the nominees, I would like to introduce our team who've been working quite diligently on preparing the online event for you all today. I'm here in Paris, France. And in addition to myself, there are 3 unbelievably talented and diverse GFAA colleagues. Peter Trippi, Editor-in-Chief of Fine Art Connoisseur magazine, GFAA Judge Emeritus and Executive Committee member, will be speaking from New York. Yuko Medvigi, who is born in Japan and raised in the United States many years of her life, is completing her master's degree in art history in Rome. And Yuko, welcome from Rome. And Juan Carlos Zaldivar, a very talented filmmaker born in Cuba, is also part of our production and leading the post-production of our event. So thank you so much for the 3 incredible colleagues from GFA for joining. There are more than 12 of our esteemed judges and board members who are also going to be presenting the nominees for this year's awards. We are such a global team, and it absolutely is my pleasure and honor to be part of the Global Fine Art Awards. I just wanted to mention a few words about the overview of our nominees this year. It is quite an impressive field of 118 nominees emanating from 6 continents, 31 countries, and 68 cities. It's the largest slate of nominees we have honored thus far in our history of 7 years. And part of the reason for this is, as everyone has experienced, COVID, and seeing what has resulted in not only the art and culture community, but everyone around the world. We find it very, very impressive and encouraging to see how the cultural institutions that we review all throughout the year have responded and reacted to the state of the world today. For example, there was so much activity, enhanced activity in the digital arena. We actually have created a new award called Best Digital Exhibition or Online Educational Program. And that is a really varied and interesting set of nominees, as you will hear later in our program. Secondly, I would like to mention that our research team, nominating committee and judges, also have warranted the amount of activity to be so robust in 2 of the categories that are very near and dear to my heart, which we launched 4 years ago, with the belief that social issues are so importantly covered through the work of artists and cultural institutions that we nominate via 2 awards, which are Global Planet and Global Humanity. So with these sort of shifts and evolutions in the art world production, if you will, it's reflected in the number of our nominees and the additional awards. We hope you will enjoy the presentation. I am absolutely honored, as mentioned, not only to be part of the Global Fine Art Award team, but to have the privilege to work with such unbelievable cultural institutions from around the world. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce our host for the event, Peter Trippi.
Thank you, Judy. Great to see you. Across the Atlantic, this is all very global, as the name of the organization suggests. I'm honored to be participating in this event again. And I just wanted to say a few words before we get rolling. The notion of reminding ourselves how very hard art professionals work to conceive and organize their temporary exhibitions and installations of art and design. That is at the very core of this program, that we want to honor those colleagues for all their good work over the past year. There is seemingly an award ceremony for everything in this world, but how is it possible that this enterprise of exhibition making and installation making had gone unattended until 2014, when Judy Holm put this together and got it moving. Kudos to you, Judy. And of course, the team has grown since then. People in various roles of research and judging and advising Thank you to all of you around the world who are participating in the program today through your audio and video presences, and also to those who are watching. Needless to say, it has been a challenging year, as Judy mentioned. One of the broader goals of GFAA is to remind the public that art holds the uniquely powerful capacity to bring the world's peoples together. And that is something that we see so intensely in the selection process and now in the nominations. I would argue that the importance of exhibitions and installations, whether they're online or in person or both, has assumed added significance because of this crisis through which we are all living. And I would also say that a lot of us took it for granted that we could go easily from one place to another enjoying these exhibitions, or that the exhibitions would come to us from another country. That's not happening right now. It will happen again, but it's going to take a while. And aren't we lucky to have lived in an era when this kind of exchange was so readily available? It's a blessing. And this is something that we want to celebrate today in part. The projects that we're looking at in the announcements today are part of that grand tradition that has evolved over the last 40 to 50 years. I think that Judy's point about inserting a new category focused on digital presentations is very topical. That is something that GFAA does very well, to respond to what's going on now. And that will continue. The organization is evolving, and this is a reminder of just how quickly we can evolve, because we are that nimble and we are truly global and have always been digital to a certain extent. Always the emphasis is on excellence, and that's something that you will see shortly through all of these marvelous nominations. They are top-notch projects in every way. Now let's have a look at some reminders of what we've done, what we've accomplished between 2014 and 2019. There's a really handsome video to enjoy.
It's important to recognize art from different cultures in one ceremony because, as far as we're aware, there's actually not another institution, whether public or corporate, that attempts to look at the global landscape of all of the exhibitions and initiatives that happen around the world. This year, the Global Fine Art Award nominees emanate from 6 continents, 31 countries, and 49 cities.
The Global Fine Art Awards are very much the Oscars for exhibitions and other visual art. So I'm grateful to be part of it, because I think that as someone who has created exhibitions and has helped fundraise for them and written about them, that it's high time this happened.
I really don't think there is any other awards that recognizes art across the globe. I think it's quite unique in that way, and you can see it recognizes artists and curators and exhibition literally in every single corner of the globe.
We are so honored to get this special award from Global Fine Arts. It means a lot to us to be recognized for this tremendous effort that the entire Southern California community put forth.
We live in a society that is completely mad for competitions and awards, and yet somehow this has never happened in our field. And I think this is serving a really direct need. This is our way of tipping the hat to those people as they put years, maybe decades, into a single project.
And what artists do is they reach all of our souls with the themes that they represent in the work that they do, ranging from things that are emotions and different aspects of life that we can all relate to, from love, hate, happiness. These are some of the things that we recognize in our award ceremony and that are very personal to me as well.
What happy memories that video has brought back to me. I'm really grateful to the team that put that video together, because I think that it reminds us of how powerful these experiences have been. It's a shame that we're not in person right now, but that's okay. We will be together again. This notion of excellence, of artists, of curators, a community of people gathering together from around the world to celebrate the artistry and the innovation is very moving to me. And I really do appreciate looking at that video. I hope you enjoyed it too. Now it's time to move forward, looking at the next cycle of honorees. This is something very important to us, to go forward and to, as I said earlier, add categories as needed to reflect the state of the world today. And that's just what we're doing now in this next edition. The nominees in each of GFAA's 15 award categories will be introduced by a different member of the GFAA team. Each team member will provide a brief definition of the award category and then read the nominees' project titles, venues, and geographic locations. The team members you are about to hear live around the globe and have come together virtually in the true spirit of our organization's name, the Global Fine Art Awards. We are deeply grateful for all of their hard work, and we look forward to celebrating with them and with you the announcement of the winners next spring. Let's go to the first category, Post-War and Contemporary Solo Deceased, introduced by our colleague Jo Lynn Hill.
My name is Jo Lynn Hill, and I'm the Deputy Director of the Albright Knox Art Gallery in Buffalo, New York, presenting our nominees in the category of Best Post-War and Contemporary Solo Artist No Longer Living. The nominees are John Baldessari at the Moderna Museet in Stockholm, Sweden, Monir Sharuti Farmanfarmayan at the Irish Museum of Modern Art in collaboration with the Sharjah Art Foundation, Namjoon Paik at Tate Modern in London, Franz West, also at Tate Modern, Francis Bacon, Books and Painting at the Centre Pompidou in Paris, Lucida Hurtado, I Live, I Die, I Will Be Reborn, a collaboration of the Serpentine Galleries in London and the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. And finally, Cy Twombly, Making Past Present at the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston.
Now we focus on the post-war and contemporary solo living category, again introduced by Jo Lynn Hill.
The nominees are Yayoi Kusama, Every Day I Pray for Love at the David Zwirner Gallery in New York, Steve McQueen at Tate Modern, in combination with Steve McQueen Year 3, presented at Tate Britain in partnership with Art Angel and A New Direction with collaboration from media partner BBC London and film partner Into Film. Frank Bowling at Tate Britain. Tracy Emin, A Fortnight of Tears at White Cube Bermondsey. Latif Mohideen, Pago Pago at the National Gallery of Singapore. Anthony Gormley at the Royal Academy of Arts in London. Sirith Wen Evans, The Illuminating Gas at Pirelli Hangar Bicocca in Milan. The Astor Gates, Amalgam at Tate Liverpool in collaboration with Palais de Tokyo, Paris. Julie Moretu at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art and the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York. Nalini Malani, You Don't Hear Me at Fundació Joan Miró and La Caixa Foundation, Barcelona. Gerhard Richter, Painting After All at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and Anthony McCall, Dark Rooms, Solid Light at the Albright Knox Art Gallery in Buffalo.
Now we turn to the next category, post-war and contemporary, group or theme, introduced by our colleague, Kimberly Lin.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Lin, and I work in research for the Global Fine Arts Awards. I'll be introducing the next category, Best Post-War and Contemporary Exhibitions, World War II to Present, Group or Theme. The nominees are, at the still point of the turning world, there is the dance, Sursak Museum, Beirut, Lebanon. Art in the Age of Anxiety, Sharjah Art Foundation, Al Mirajah Square, Sharjah, United Arab Emirates. Inspiration, Iconic Works, National Museum, Stockholm, Sweden, and the Antenum Art Museum, Finnish National Art Gallery, Helsinki, Finland. Taking Shape, Abstraction from the Arab World, 1950s to 1980, Gray Art Gallery, New York University, New York City, United States of America. Creativity and Daydream, Korean Eye 2020, Contemporary Korean Art, the State Hermitage Museum, Moscow, Russia. Measure Your Existence, the Rubin Museum of Art, New York City, United States of America. Two Together, Zeitz Museum of Contemporary Art Africa, Cape Town, South Africa. Society Guidance, Part 1 and Part 2, Ulan Center for Contemporary Art, Beijing, China. Timeless Conversations 2020, Voices from Japanese Art of the Past and Present, the National Art Center, Tokyo, Japan.
Now we turn to the category of Modern and Impressionism Solo, introduced by our colleague, Betsy Pusan.
Hello, I'm Betsy Puson, the chair of the nominating committee, and I am pleased to announce the nominees for the Best Solo Modern or Impressionist Exhibition, covering the period from 1840 to World War II. Our first nominee is Aubrey Beardsley, and this exhibition was at the Tate Britain in London and the Musée d'Orsay and the Musée de l'Orangerie in Paris. Our next nominee is James Tissot, Fashion and Faith, James Tissot, Ambiguously Modern, shown at the Legion of Honor Fine Arts Museum of San Francisco and the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. Our next nominee is Degas at the Opera, as seen at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris and the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. Our next nominee is Chiura Obata, American Modern, at the Smithsonian American Art Museum in collaboration with the Art Design and Architectural Museum of UC Santa Barbara. Our next nominee is Picasso and Paper, seen at the Royal Academy of Arts in London and the Cleveland Museum of Art in partnership with the Musée National Picasso Paris. Our next nominee is Barbara Hepworth, seen at the Musée Rodin in association with the Tate Britain. The next nominee is Edward Hopper, seen at the Fondation Bayler in Basel in collaboration with the Whitney Museum of American Art. And our final nominee is the Credit Suisse exhibition Gauguin Portraits, seen at the National Gallery in London. Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. Now it's time to turn to the category of Modern and Impressionism, group or theme, introduced by Andrew Nichols.
Hello there from Mexico. I'm Andrew Nichols, and I'm extremely honored to be introducing the nominees for the GFAA for the Best Modern or Impressionist Group. Basically, this is art completed from any time between 1840 and World War II. So our first nominee is the Golden Age of English Painting. It's by the Musée de Luxembourg, Réunion de Musées Nationaux of the Grand Palais in the Champs-Élysées in partnership with the Tate in Paris. The second one is the Struggle for Visibility, Artists of the National Gallery before 1919 at the Staatlich Museen zu Berlin, Alte National Gallery in Berlin. Next up, we have Dali and Magritte, two surrealist icons in dialogue, which was put on in the Royal Museum of Fine Arts in Belgium, in Brussels. Next, it's Fantastic Women, Schim Kunsthal and the Louisiana Museum of Modern Art, Frankfurt and Humleibeck in Denmark. We now have Vida Americana, Mexican muralists remake American art, 1925 to 1945, which was at the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York. Next is Paris in the days of Post-Impressionism, Signac and Les Indépendants, at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts in Montreal. En Passant, Impressionism in Sculpture, was hosted by the Stadel Museum in Frankfurt. National Forces, Winslow Homer and Frederick Remington was at the Denver Art Museum in Denver. And finally, our last nominee is the Impressionists and Photography at the Musée National Thyssen-Bornemisza in Madrid. That completes the nominees for this year for Best Modern or Impressionist Group. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Let's turn to the category of Renaissance, Baroque, Old Masters, and Dynasties solo, introduced by our colleague James Bradburn.
This year's nominees for the Best Renaissance, Baroque, Old Masters, and Dynastic are as follows: Leonardo da Vinci, le Musée du Louvre, Paris, France; Van Eyck, An Optical Revolution, the Museum for Schöne Kunsten, Ghent, Belgium; Raffaello, Scuderia del Quirinale, Rome, Italy; El Greco, Ambition and Defiance, le Grand Palais, rayonnant des musées nationaux et le Grand Palais des Champs-Élysées, RMN-AGP, le Musée du Louvre, and the Art Institute of Chicago, both in France, in Paris, and in the USA, in Chicago. Titian, Love, Desire, Death, National Gallery, London, England. And finally, Pietro Aretino and the Art of the Renaissance, the Galleria degli Uffizi, Florence.
Many thanks, James. Let's turn now to Renaissance, Baroque, Old Masters, and Dynasties, group or theme, introduced by our colleague Katya Luki.
Hello, my name is Ekaterina Luki, and I hope you all keep safe. I'm Executive Committee for Global Fine Art Award, and today I'm very happy and honored to introduce the two categories. One is for Best Renaissance, Baroque, and All Masters group shows, which covers from 1200 approximately to 1838. And the first one would be Advent of the Artist, Musée du Louvre, Paris, France. The second is Renaissance of Etching from Dürer to Bruegel, the Metropolitan Museum in collaboration with Albertina, Vienna. Exhibition took place in both New York and Vienna. And the third one is a tale of two women painters, Safansiba Anguzola and Lavinia Fontana, Museo Nacional del Prado, Spain, Madrid. And the last one in this category would be Caravaggio Bernini, Baroque in Rome, Rijksmuseum, Netherlands, Amsterdam. Stay tuned, stay with us. Thank you.
We welcome back Katya Luki to discuss the category of ancient.
I've been extremely honored to introduce the second category for Global Fine Art Awards nominee this year. And this time it's Best Ancient Art. First exhibition in this category is Troy, Myth and Reality, British Museum, London. The second one is Mesopotamia, Civilization Begins, Paul Getty Museum, Los Angeles. The third one is Crossroads, Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York. The fourth one is Ulysses, Art and Myth, Museum San Domenico, Italy, Forlì. The fourth one is Art Primer, Artist of Prehistory, Musée d'Antropologia, Catalunya, Barcelona. And the last one in this category is Furusaya, the Art of Chivalry between East and West, the Louvre, Abu Dhabi, Abu Dhabi.
Thank you, Katya. Now we move to public or outdoor installation and exhibition, introduced by our colleague Cornelia Lauf.
Hi, my name is Cornelia Lauf, and I'm based in Rome and Catania, and I'll be reading to you the best public or outdoor installation exhibition propositions. Maurizio Catalan, Blenheim Palace, England. Christo et Jean-Claude, Paris, at the Centre Pompidou, France. Connect, BTS, at the Serpentine Galleries, Gropius Bau, Aerocene DDP Design Exhibition Hall, Brooklyn Bridge Park. Border Tuner, Rafael Lozano Hemmer, El Paso and Ciudad Juarez. Team Lab, A Forest Where Gods Live, Mifuneyama Rakuen, Japan. Desert X Alula, Desert X in collaboration with the Royal Commission of Alula, Saudi Arabia. And finally, Jeppe Hein, Sabine Hornig, Laura Owens, Sarah Z, at LaGuardia Gateway Partners in partnership with the Public Art Fund, Terminal B, LaGuardia Airport, USA. Thank you very much, and all best to all participants.
Thank you, Cornelia. Up now is the category of design, introduced by our colleague Alfredo González Canovas.
Dear all, I'm Alfredo González Canovas, and I am extremely honored to be introducing the nominees for the Global Fine Art Awards for the Best Design Exhibition. Design combines the values and the foundations of art, beauty and creativity. We celebrate the transcendence of design, its enduring value, and the ways it brings sense to life. Such is the magic of extraordinary design. Here are the nominees for 2020 Best Design Exhibition. Our first nominee is Claire Van Eyck's Colors in Design at Design Museum in Ghent, Belgium. The second one is Radical Italian Design 1965-1985, the Dennis Friedman Collection at the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston, USA. Third one is Le Corbusier and Zurich at Museum of Gestaltung in Zurich, Switzerland. Fourth one is Gio Ponti, Loving Architecture at MAXI, National Museum of 21st Century Arts in Rome, Italy. Fifth one, 10,000 Years of Luxury at Musée des Arts Décoratifs and the Louvre, Abu Dhabi, in Paris, France, and Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Next one is Nature, Cooper Hewitt Design Triennial at Cooper Hewitt Design Museum, co-organized with Cube Design Museum in New York, USA. Our last nominee is Kimono, Fashioning Identities at Tokyo National Museum in Japan. Many thanks.
Many thanks, Alfredo. The next category is photography, introduced by our colleague Gina Costa.
Hello, this is Gina Costa from Chicago, and I am one of the Global Fine Art Award judges. I'm here to present the nominees for Best Photography category. Those nominees are Signs and Wonders, the photographs of John Beasley Green from the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art and the Art Institute of Chicago. Next is Anne May Lee, A Contested Terrain, the Carnegie Museum of Art, Pittsburgh. Next on the list is Unseen, 35 years of collecting photographs from the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. The next nominee is Capturing Iran's Past, Fotokunst, Photo Art, from the Staatliche Museum of Berlin and the Pergamon in collaboration with the Museum of Islamic Art in Berlin. Next on our list is Man Ray in Paris, presented by the Oscar Niemeyer Museo, Banco di Brasil Cultural Center in Belo Horizonte. Next on our list is Nan Golden, Sirens, presented by the Marion Goodman Gallery in London. Next, Cindy Sherman, presented by the National Portrait Gallery in London. The next nominee on our list is Claudio Angular, La Lutte Vanomanie, from the Fondation Cartier in Paris. And the final nominee for the category of Best Photography is Defiant Muses, Delphine Seyrig and the Feminist Video Collectives in France, 1970s and 1980s, presented by the Metropolitan Museum of Art in Lille and the Museo René Sofia in Madrid. And this concludes the category of Best Photographs nominees for the Global Fine Arts Awards.
Thank you, Gina. The next category to be explored is Fringe, cross-category or cross-era, introduced by our colleague Savita Apte.
The category Best Fringe or Best Alternative recognizes the amazing contributions of exhibitions that cannot be confined to a single epoch or period. The nominees for this category are On Being Present at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy, Black Suns at Louvre Lens in Lens, France, and the Ukiyo-e 2020 at the Tokyo Metropolitan Art Museum in Tokyo, Japan.
We welcome back Savita Apte for Global Planet, the next category we're exploring.
The Global Planet Award is an amazing recognition of artists and exhibition makers who focus our attention on the fragility of the planet we all inhabit. This year's nominations range from Australia through to the United States and everywhere in between. It is of huge concern for all of us the way we treat, or rather mistreat, this planet that we all call home. The nominees in this category are Team Lab, Universe of Water Particles in the Tank, Transcending Boundaries, at Tank Shanghai in Shanghai, China. Water, at the Queensland Art Gallery and the Gallery of Modern Art in Brisbane, Australia. Countryside, The Future, Solomon R. Guggenheim Gallery, New York, USA. Under the Stars, at the Art Gallery of New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. Plus 1.5 degree changes everything at the Museo Nacional del Prado in collaboration with the WWF in Madrid, Spain. Cantera, Architecture of the Earth, T-Space in collaboration with Ensemble Studio in Rhinebeck and Menorca, USA and Spain, and in virtual reality. Alexander von Humboldt in the United States, Art, Nature and Culture at the Smithsonian Art Museum in Washington, D.C., USA. Oliver Eliasson, Symbiotic Seeing at the Kunsthaus Zurich in Zurich, Switzerland.
Thank you very much, Savita. The next category is Global Humanity, introduced by our colleague Deborah Najjar.
This is Deborah Najjar presenting the Global Fine Art Awards Global Humanity Award. And the nominees are Perforated City at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Taipei, Taiwan. Oscar Murillo, Ética y Estética at the Parroquia Santa Bárbara in La Paila, Colombia. Jeppe Hein and Art 2030, Breathe With Me, at the United Nations Headquarters, Central Park and Blocks Danish Architecture Center in New York, Copenhagen, and Global. When We First Arrived, DYK WTCA at the corner at Whitman Walker and online auction in Washington, D.C., USA. Ancient Worlds Now, A Future for the Past at the John Paul Getty Museum, Los Angeles, USA. Yoko Ono, The Learning Garden of Freedom at the Serralves Museum of Contemporary Art in Porto, Portugal. Art on the Grid in New York City, USA. Jamie Holmes at the skies of Detroit, Miami, Dallas, Los Angeles, and New York. Ai Weiwei Mask, an online collaboration with eBay for charity. Global. Don't Ask Me Where I'm From, Imago Mundi's Gallerie delle Prigioni and Aga Khan Museum, Treviso, Italy, and Toronto, Canada. 2020 Asia Project, Looking for Another Family, the National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art in Seoul, Korea.
Thank you, Deborah. New this year is the category Digital Exhibition or Online Educational Program. This category is being introduced by Sylvain Lévy, our colleague in France.
Hello to everybody. My name is Sylvain Lévy, and on behalf of DSL Collection, which was founded by myself and my wife Dominique, I'm happy to announce the nominee of the Global Fine Art Award for the Best Digital Exhibition or Online Educational Program of the year. DSL Collection has since 2005 been involved in the use of technology to connect and disseminate and create new experience with art. Here is the list. Monet, Renoir, Chagall by L'Atelier des Lumières, Paris. Return to the Sources, the Melrose, Johannesburg. Cocktail with a Curator, the Frick Collection, New York. Google Vermeer Project, Google Arts and Culture, online. Cinéma Dynamo, Centre d'Art Contemporain de Genève, Geneva. Operation Night Watch, Rich Museum, Amsterdam. Love Stories, Fondazione Prada, Milan. Finite Rents, Fondazione Prada, Milan. Jacob Kutz Strinsen, The Deep Listener, Serpentine Gallery online in collaboration with Google Arts and Culture and Sir David Ajayi, London. Embrace Guggenheim at Large, New York. Machine Hallucinations, Arts House, New York. Colin Sinuan Chimre Voluntary Garden, UCCA, Fusion Arts Center, Modern Skies, Badhead Records, and Co-Art, Beijing. Google Arts and Culture platform at large highlights include these 3 projects: the National Museum of Modern Contemporary Art, British Museums, the Paul Getty Museum, Seoul, London, Los Angeles. The National Museums of Modern Contemporary Art and Google Arts and Culture, Seoul. History Connected, British Museum and Google Arts Culture, London. And finally, the Paul Getty Museum and Google Arts Culture, Los Angeles. As you can see, the list is very diverse and also very numerous. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter, for doing your wonderful job as host digitally, as well as you do so often for our events when we gather together in person. As mentioned, this year, we all have lived in such different conditions, and it is really one of the strengths of our team that we pull together in many different ways, and the feeling of community that really crosses our colleagues, and also through our nominees, and the interconnection of art across history, time, and geography is something that we're all extremely passionate about and honored to be part of. As this year really marks a historical moment in time in every way imaginable, this is absolutely critical, we felt, to continue with our history of having the awards. And this event of announcing our nominations is something that becomes part of the legacy and the stewardship of all that's happened in the past year. I really wish to thank, most of all, the people who have worked the most on this production, Peter Trippi, Juan Carlos Zaldivar, and Hugo Nedvigi. Thank you so much for all of your dedication and incredibly wonderful hard work.
Thank you, Judy, for being the soul of GFFA and for being able to assemble such an amazing team. This is such an important award, and I am thrilled to be part of it, honored to be part of it. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure working with all of you, and it's been actually an honor to work with you. Thank you, especially to Judy for involving me in this process, and it's been a great experience. So lots of love from Rome.
So without further ado, I wish you all really a wonderful evening, and looking forward very much to announcing our winners in the spring. And hopefully that will be in Paris in grand style that we're accustomed to from many of our past events, and worthy of the caliber of the nominees that we are highlighting. Thank you, everyone, and wishing you a wonderful fall. Until next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. And the only desire that I would have is that we were together in the same room, and of course with a glass of champagne.